Hello, world. Welcome back to the sixth episode of Kaleidospoke. It's myself, Richie Rich, alongside Aaron, and we are here. We are back. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm still, kind of reeling off the Christmas period. My stomach is probably doubled in size, so
That's good. That's good. I think that's a typical thing, right? Everyone just overeats and then tries to get in the gym for January. It's fitness January. So I don't know. See you tomorrow for your run.
Yeah. In fact, yes, of course. Yeah, I love running. It's all good. Wait a sec before you continue. I turn up whenever it's raining, snowing, whatever condition. I just thought I'd put that out there.
You mentioned this a couple of times. I don't think anyone really believes the hype, so we'll move on swiftly. I hope you guys enjoyed the bonus episodes. If you didn't listen to that, then definitely check those out. We covered some good topics on 2021, which is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year, we hope. And we are back in the booth. Today we've got 3 good topics to talk about, and I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a enlightening one.
I think so. Aren't they always?
Cool. All right, so let's get into it. So the first one on the list is the big B, the big deal, the big Brexit. So as some of you might know, Britain, which the fine country we are in and we are living in, voted to exit group in 2016 under the leadership of Mr. Cameron, and it was a close one, but everyone thought exit group and let's get out, and that was 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. So it was the other day, I think 24th of December, when Mr. Johnson, Bojo, managed to get a deal, and this is after a good 3 years of Brexit fatigue or Brexit. I guess it was just the Brexit all over the TV and all over the news, to the point where everyone was fatigued and just wanted to get it over and done with. So we managed to get a deal with the EU, which was like the big sticking point. Obviously, it's like a divorce. It's always a bit of a angst in amongst the relationship, and at that period, a lot of heavy political words being touted around, and but we made it. We are exiting the group. Whether that be good or bad, we shall see, and we shall fly the flag once again. The British Empire.
Yes.
No, joking. No. But yeah, so this is there's a lot of people that have been passionate about this across the board. As I say, it's a close vote. It's like nearly 50-50, pretty much, and it's just been such a divisive thing over the last few years. That's just kind of drowned all the other bits that have been going on and important things that have been going on in the country, and sometimes in our neighboring countries as well. So yeah, we're here. I don't know what you think, but I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy we're here. It's a milestone.
Yeah. I think limbo is quite a dangerous place to be in. With this particular issue, we've been in limbo for the best part of 4 years. So even if, I don't have any real political kind of inclination, but, I guess fundamentally, I don't really understand why, we'd want to leave the EU. However, I think it's best, given that the decision has already been made, it's best that there is an agreement, which we now have, and which I guess I am happy about. In terms of what is in the agreement, it's still a little ambiguous. There are a few things that have been agreed. I think because it was done in the holiday season, I think some of it was a bit rushed. But in the deal, we got a few things that definitely were agreed. So you got no tariffs on goods when they cross borders, and no quotas as well. There will be some extra checks at borders, effective from the 1st of Jan. And this is for goods, and this is for citizens, EU citizens and UK citizens. So if we're crossing the border, there'll be an extra check for us when we enter EU countries. There's still a little bit of ambiguity around like financial services, which we're known for as a country. One of the things that have kind of historically given us our edge in the world. So there's a bit of ambiguity around, how that's going to change. And but I think one of the main things is, and this is probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people um, would have wanted, this Brexit to happen in the first place. And actually, this is probably one of the main points which some Brexiteers, like Mr. Farage, would have put across. The UK and its citizens are no longer bound by European court judgments. So I guess that's a win for the Brexiteers, right? And I think, this is the sovereignty that everybody who would have voted for Brexit was looking for. So, it's a new day. It's a new day. I don't know if you've been on any motorways recently, but I had to travel quite a bit, and you see on the notice boards, that there's going to be like delays at the border, and there are new documents that lorry drivers and freight drivers are having to comply with. So there will be, at least initially, quite a few delays with goods coming in and out of the UK. So again, we'll have to see how that works out. Like you said, it's a divorce. In the beginning of a divorce, it's always a bit shaky. It's like nobody knows where they stand. Can I still go around and touch her a bit? No, that's not how the divorce goes.
Right, okay.
So,
you clearly haven't been through a divorce.
yeah, no,
I
I
don't know.
haven't.
You cannot touch it.
But yeah, I mean, might get a bit lonely over here. We're just an island after all. But so yeah, like in the beginning, there's always going to be a bit of growing pains, I guess. But there's one issue that I'll get your thoughts on it as well. And this was probably one of the biggest holdups with Brexit, and that's around the Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland border. And given that one half of Ireland is in the EU and one half is part of the UK, I think this will still take quite a lot of time to work out how, I don't know, how we operate with those two kind of like, at least now, conflicting, I don't want to say ideologies, that's the wrong word, but those kind of two conflicting realities kind of working simultaneously. I think that will be a really, really, really difficult thing to get around.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you think?
but they actually the ideology is different. The difference in ideology has always been there. I mean, I think the Irish are quite like sure that the Northern Irish are simply. I mean, without getting too political, like they should be a part of the wider island, the big island, yeah. And I think the fact that within this trade agreement, there is the ability to have this free trade and no taxes on goods and some extra checks, and that I think that's the thing. The border between Ireland and Northern Ireland was really no border at all. There were no checks and balances there. But I think to see if there will be, I don't think there will be. I think there will be. I mean, I'm not too sure on the ins and outs, but that was such a sticking point. I'll be surprised that it slips through and we'll start seeing sort of fences and high guard checks. But if there are, then again, that will intensify the situation. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be an interesting transition for this country. I know, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I know kind of the British like monarchy and the politicians all claim this whole thing, and people talk about the whole how great this empire was, and whatever it was built on, and that's controversial in itself. But it'd be interesting to see how well we we get on without in this sort of new form, this new structure. Um, Whether or not
Mm.
it would be noticeable, I'm not even too sure, because we'll still have to play a very close part with the EU. But you know, as long as for me, as long as it's beneficial for the people across the classes, so working class, middle class, particularly, then I think it's a good thing. But that's yet to be
Yeah.
seen.
All right, we had one two technicals.
It happens.
It does, it does, it does. You know, when you're running these high tech operations, you know, you can't you can't ever be too short of an engineer here and there. And luckily enough, we had Charlie down the back to sort us out. Um,
Charlie, good old Charlie.
so yeah. Yeah, I was kind of talking about the makeup of the United Kingdom and how Brexit could have threatened the very makeup of the United Kingdom. And I think we live in London. It's kind of a bubble for us. Like we're in this kind of like melting pot of cultures, melting. There's tons of opportunities all the time. I would hope that you know that even though this Brexit might have minimal implications for us, I would hope that potentially that kind of spreads around the country, but I don't think so, man. I think there's part of the country that's gonna I don't know, it's like RIP. Do you know what I mean?
What? Which ones? What? Why? Why?
Because I think some of I think I mean I guess if tariffs and quotas are the same, maybe not. I don't know. Um
Mm,
but I mean, it's ironic that it's because this is the same thing that going back to the whole, how Brexit occurred in the first place. Um, it was the same thing with Donald Trump. It was like a lot of people that felt disenfranchised and ignored by the kind of like political heart. They weren't really getting the opportunities that they felt they deserved, and I don't. And that's the reason why they kind of went for the rebel vote. And
mm,
I don't know if their position is going to improve because of it now. I'm not really too sure it will, personally.
mm. It'd be interesting to see that, because obviously a large part of this sort of campaigning and this whole Brexit thing was control of our borders and having um, others nationals, European nationals, come in without much checks and all this kind of stuff, and then people were complaining that they're taking our jobs and all this kind of stuff, undercutting us, etc., or the locals. It's a different argument, because that whether or not they are, it's a question, and you know work ethic and all this kind of stuff. But it'd be interesting to see if there is a noticeable um, shift in employment due to um, maybe less nationals coming in or less EU nationals coming in. So,
Mm,
what would be that migration rate? Is that migration rate decreasing after post Brexit? I think it has since 2016. Anyway, I'm sure I saw that
mm,
that sort of type of stat some months years ago, actually last year I think it was. And so yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's an effect there, and noticeable. Um,
mm,
not I can't I'm not I don't spend enough time outside of London to kind of to have an idea and visualize and see what that's about, or how people feel in those areas. But
mm,
because London's such a melting pot, it's difficult to see, and that's a big part of that. That was a big part of the surprise of Brexit as well, because I was in the city working. It was all kind of like, let's stay, remain. This doesn't
mm,
make sense to kind of exit, and so I thought it was a done deal. Like, it's silly to kind of leave the EU, but then lo and behold, Mr. Farage got his way, and we were out. So
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, I think you're totally right. I think I was, pretty much all of London were in the same boat. It was like, oh, this is just a kind of formality. David Cameron promised he'd have to do this, so he's just satisfying, some of his mates. But then it just all went, the other way. the
yeah,
country, the country that we actually live in, we're not happy. So
yeah,
um, I think it's interesting. You talked about the migration rate, and it's probably worth observing. Post Brexit, um, it's going to be really difficult to see whether the migration rate is caused or is affected by Brexit or affected by coronavirus. I think it's going to be really difficult to kind of um,
yeah,
like separate the two. Do you know what I mean? Um,
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of people that, especially that work in hospitality industries, that have gone home because there's nothing for them now.
mm, mm,
So I think the coronavirus will have quite a big part to play in how we look at the next 6 months with our relationship with the EU too. So it's got to
mm,
be it's got to be interesting. Number one, but yeah, I think it'll be really difficult to be like, well, this happened because of Brexit and this happened because of Corona. It's
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think there was a noticeable slowdown. Apparently, that was reported from the time of where Brexit was announced, and 2016, and there was a noticeable decline in migration rates to the UK.
mm,
Um, whether that's sustained since up until 2019, for when Corona came, I'm not sure. But yeah, there will be sort of a double sort of conflation there. The other thing is, I guess, as UK nationals now, people are like wondering what about their holidays to sort of sunny Marbella or Costa del Mallorca.
wow.
But
Wow.
but I think what I've read is that British travellers will still be able to go to Europe with no with well, I don't know, we'll need a visa for stays longer than 90 days.
Yeah.
But any shorter than that, we don't need a visa, which is great.
Yep.
A nice happy medium there,
Sure.
and EU pet passports will no longer be valid, so we can't get those French, pit bulls or whatever they are over
Yeah. What those? Those are the little tiny miniature pit bulls.
there, bro.
Bro,
Chihuahuas.
no, I've seen these miniature tiny pit bulls. I don't know what they're called, but they're like miniature tiny ones. It's like, whoa, like I don't know, man. People will reverse engineering genes and that to have like pit bulls that can fit in their bag. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous if you own one, of course. But yeah. We'll
Yeah,
we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this
we'll
goes.
see. We'll see.
We will. We
All
will.
right.
All right. All right, man. So look, um, our second subject comes from a comment from one of our previous podcasts, actually. Um,
Mm.
I won't say what the comment was because I don't want to light the person up. But, I must have said something in one of our podcasts, and they said, you know, um, your podcast was great, but you said this thing, and, it could be seen as a microaggression. And I was like, what the hell is a microaggression? you know, a small aggression. I'm not
Wow.
aggressive. I understand aggressive, passive aggressive, non-aggressive,
But
and
microaggressive.
microaggressive. I mean, I guess. So
It's a new one. It's a new
I,
one.
I asked them, what it meant, and they were like, "Oh, look it up on Google," and I probably just said, "Yeah, no," which might have demonstrated another microaggression, right? But it turns out that this is some of the terminology used in this day and age by those that are woke, and
Mm.
I'm not sure how woke I am. How woke do you think you are?
I can't really measure myself on wokeness. to be honest, I think I'm very far from woke. I'm probably sleeping.
Probably it's the Matrix. Nobody's woke. We're all just plugged in. So yeah, man. It made me question, just for bands, it made me question, how woke am I actually? Like, I think I'm a relatively kind of like in tune person with what's going on, and I kind of got my own opinion. I can do some critical analysis, and I thought, shit, man, like, how about we just like do a test? So we're gonna run this kind of quiz that we found on BuzzFeed, and this is
Wait.
experiment. Yeah,
So what is woke though? I mean, this
dude.
is a movement, right? Right. This is
Yeah.
a kind of like, not, I can't even say a Me Too thing. No, it's not right. It's like a
Wait. Before you continue, be careful, bro. These people, they shut people down, bro. It's not a joke.
no. But it's a micro culture maybe, or it's a wave. It's an online thing. Like, it's but actually there was quite a lot of what was it, 2018, when a lot of companies were coming out with adverts to show how woke they were.
Mm.
Was it 2019? I'm not sure. And it was just like this trend. It was highly trending, where I think it was like, I don't know, literally like these tests that we're probably going to like dive into now is like, was the thing to do. Like, you kind of, if you were unwoke, you kind of needed to take this test to kind of certify, or know where you are on the spectrum. Like, it's
Sure. I mean, I guess from my limited understanding of what woke is, I guess it's the understanding of positions of marginalized groups and individuals in society. Maybe
mm,
something along those
mm,
lines. Something along those
mm.
lines. Understanding that everybody LGBTQIA plus, asymmetrical, whatever. Um, like everyone has feelings, and you got to respect feelings because feelings is everything, and
Mm,
companies and companies and white men, unfortunately, are the evil people, and somehow you know everything is wrong in the world is because of them. Something along those
mm,
lines. Something along
mm,
those lines. So
mm.
but I guess this BuzzFeed quiz might help us understand. So I guess if you're ready, um,
Okay, I'm ready.
we, we'll alternate these questions. There's about 12, 13, and we'll go through the answers, and we'll have a find out how woke we actually are. And you guys, we'll put the link somewhere where you guys can,
Join
take
in.
take the woke test, and hopefully you guys are woke, not asleep, plugged into the matrix.
That's it. That's it.
So look, man. All right, let's go. That first question says, and we actually asked this question already. Um, First and foremost, what does woke even mean? So,
Ooh.
so we got, for answer A, it's the past tense of wake. B, something to do with Black Twitter.
Ooh. Ooh.
C, something that I'm trying to be. Or D, a cultural push to challenge problematic norms and injustices through complete awareness. That's a lot of words.
Yeah. It makes it stand out.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Am I supposed to tell you what I'm going for? Or?
Sure.
I'm going with the last one. Like, that's definitely where I see it. I mean, I'm trying to be woke as well at the same time, so I'm
Yeah.
tempted to kind of click that. but the crux of the question, I think, is a deeper one, which is this whole problem of norms and injustice. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going with that.
I think I'll go with that too. I mean, it's got a lot of words where the others don't. So, it's kind of probably it.
It's a given clue. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. Question 2. Raven Simone is African American. B, from every continent in Europe. C, from every continent in Africa. 4, clueless.
All right. So before I even answer this, answer B and answer C says from every continent in Europe. Okay, I don't even know how that's possible. Europe's the continent, and and the same with Africa.
Africa's a continent.
Africa's the continent, so we've either got African American or Clueless. Do you know who Raven
That's,
Simone is?
you. She was an actress, right, in America.
Yeah, that Only So
Um,
Raven, Only So Raven.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I know she got some backlash because she says some stupid shit.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know how clueless she is. She is probably a stand-up individual, Raven Simone, wherever you're at.
I feel like this question though, it's like I feel like it's probably caught a lot of people out though. They probably didn't realize Europe is a continent, and I think it's like whoever selected that, they're just damn ignorant. Like
So you know,
lost points.
who do you think would have selected that Europe isn't a continent?
Maybe someone without a passport.
Sure. So I'm gonna go with A, African American. I think she is African American.
Yeah. It's a safe one.
All right. So look, this one is gonna rile a few feathers, I guess. So the question is, when is Black History Month? Now, the first answer is February in America and October in the UK. B is every damn day in capitals.
Every damn day. God.
C, Black History Month? We need a whole damn year. Not capitals. And the last answer, I don't know, but more importantly, why isn't there a White History Month?
Oh gosh, this is so funny. This is so funny. This actually getting better.
Yeah.
Like it. I think, yeah, for there to be White History Month, yeah, that's just like tongue in cheek. Like it's like
Yeah.
Black History Month. Why do we need a whole damn year? I would say I'm going to go with every damn day. Every damn day. Factually, it's February in America, October in the UK.
Yeah.
But I think this is beyond facts. If you're woke, you look beyond facts. Or yeah.
That's right. I mean, I'm going to go with the facts with February in America and October in the UK. Because it's asking when is the month. A month is generally 30 days. So I don't know how every damn day turns into a month. But okay.
Me, it's not work, man. Like that's what people have told you, and that's the social norm, that's the structure. But if you look beyond that, think outside the box.
Yeah,
every day is a month.
I just had to blink twice. I was like, "Whoa, man!"
How woke I am. I'm feeling more woke by taking this test.
I'm getting your woke vibes. If it asked me like when is Black History, then I could say every damn day. But the month kind of like puts it in a bit of a box for me. So I'm gonna go with February in America and October in UK.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Complete this sentence. Oh, you know what? This question is null and void, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean we can't see the image.
Yeah.
How about we go black? I'm going black.
You have
That's the answer.
2 options: black and all. I'll say black.
I'll say black.
All right. Next one.
All right. So, next question: what are the Oscars? A, an annual American award ceremony hosted by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to recognize excellence in cinematic achievements in the film industry. And that was A. B, a great opportunity to see my fave celebs dressed in cute outfits. C, boring AF. And if you're woke, you know what AF means. It means as flag nog.
But why do you have to be woke to know what AF is? You might not be woke, but you know what AF is.
bro, if I ask my mum what AF is, she's gonna be like, "Nah, bro, I don't even know." Africa? I
But
don't
that
know.
doesn't. Nah, it's a boring af.
um, so yeah, that was C, and the last one was D. So the question again is, what are the Oscars?
I mean, the boring answer is A, right? An American, award ceremony hosted by Academy, blah blah blah. But again, 3. Like, let's keep it real. It's boring as fuck. Like, to me, it is boring. Like,
Mm.
all of this stuff, because it feels like I mean, there's a lot of like rig. It feels rigged. Like, a lot of it's just like a bit show,
I
show,
mean,
show.
have you ever been to an award ceremony? Just
Just
any whatsoever.
well, apart from the time when I got man in the match for my Sunday league football team.
Oh yeah, searching for it again. Yeah. He's just
Apart
showing
from
it
that day,
to the camera. Um,
no.
because like with any award show, I've been to a couple, right? And when there's a few people that are competing in it or they've been nominated, they generally know before they even come and turn up who's going to win. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They'll be briefed, I guess. Um, so I could see it being quite. It could be quite boring.
Mm.
But the last Oscars, I think it was the Oscars or the BAFTA. Oh, God knows what it is.
Mm.
And Ricky Gervais, he did this mad monologue, which was pants because I like Ricky Gervais, and
He's great.
yeah, he did this monologue, which was just ridiculing the whole thing, and I think that is great personally, and I think
Yeah.
over time the Oscars have kind of understood that they're a little bit vanilla, and they've kind of spiced it up a bit. So me, I'm gonna go with A, which is the annual American Awards ceremony. Um, and what are you gonna go with?
Oh, you are so woke. You are so woke.
Um,
I'm going with boring AF.
yeah, it's boring
Yeah.
as flag knock. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is okay. Go.
Okay. Next question is: how offended are you by white people in
Mhm,
cornrows,
mhm.
which are like plaits, kind of uh, attached to people's head.
I mean, we call it
Um,
cane row over here.
cane roll, yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, so answer A is not offended at all. It's just hair. Um, B is why should I be offended? Black people wear straight weaves all the time, and no one says anything to them. C is don't even get me started. How dare they? And then D is I don't care as long as they don't pretend that they invented it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Not offended at all. It's just hair. I mean, it is just hair, true. But, I mean, if they pretend they invented it, because there was that time, right, when the Kardashians they did it or something, and then it was like, oh yeah, this is the new vibe. Cornrows is the new vibe, and it's like, bro, we've been doing this forever, fam. What is this?
Oh
um,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but anything the Kardashians do, they just they take the rights,
I
put a
mean,
stamp on it.
I mean,
So
I, I don't know if everyone would agree with that, but I would
if you're
personally
woke, you're woke.
say, I mean, if you're woke and you're looking woke, the further we go down this test, you're looking more and more woke. Like you've gone beyond
I'm
the
shining.
yeah. You're actualizing, bro.
I'm at the top. Maslow hierarchy of needs. I'm at the
all the way,
top,
all the way, shining star.
sitting under that Buddha tree.
So I think I'm probably gonna go with D, which is I don't care as long as they don't pretend they invented it. I think that one stands out to me most.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it feels like, uh, yeah. I guess if they don't pretend they invented it, then there's no argument to say who invented it.
Mm,
Uh, so, you know, I think that's a safe bet. I'm gonna go with that one as well. Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because don't even get me started. How dare they? That's a bit ignorant.
I mean,
This is sad.
it's kind of their hair, like you can't really tell somebody what they should or shouldn't do with their hair. I mean,
But then,
yeah,
go on.
I mean, if you start with, what people can and can't do with their hair, then it kind of moves on to clothes, and then it kind of moves on to the music they listen to, and it's a dark path. It's a dark path.
It's a dark path with dark hair. But you know what? Actually, I'm even going to change the answer. I'm going with A. Not offended at all. It's just hair.
Mm.
Because if I'm woke, I don't even care if they pretend that they invented it. You know, that doesn't really phase me. So
I
that's
think.
it. A.
Wait. Okay. Good. But I do think you're cross pollinating the definition of woke here. I mean, you said the woke that you referred to just now is kind of like, conscious and actualized. I'm not sure if woke is that. Maybe woke is just looking beyond the facts. Oh, shots fired. Not you, bro. You know I love you. It's not you.
No, of course. Moving on.
Moving on. So next question: who are the Black Panthers? Interesting. A, a terrorist group.
Oh well.
Yep. B, yeah, I had to read that with a straight face. B, a political organization set up in the US in 1966 to fight for Black rights. C, Beyonce's backup dancers. Or D, I thought Black Panther was a film.
I thought it was a film.
I mean, I think it is a film.
I didn't know Beyonce's backup dancers were called Black Panthers, but that's educational.
I mean,
to say
yeah.
the least.
Yeah.
I think a terrorist group is far fetched. I definitely know it's not. And it's got to be B. It's a political organization set up in the US to fight crime.
Fight crime against Black people.
Fight for black rights.
Yes. I'll have to say the same. Ooh.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, you read this one. You read this one.
Okay, who can use the N word? N word. Controversial. No one. Is answer A. B is Black people. C, as long as your Black friends say it's cool, you can use it. And D, if you like rap music, you have no choice to use it, to be honest.
Oh, you know why this one's hard, bro? You know why this one's hard? Because this is an age-old question, isn't it? This question doesn't go away. It's never going to go away. You know why it's never going to go away?
Mm-hmm.
As long as rappers say it, then, other groups are going to say it. It's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think...
Not just rappers, but it's kind of even from the streets, right? It's not just... Even if rappers don't say it, it might be something still kept in the streets as well.
But I think potentially, yeah. But I think as long as it's in rap is kind of raps in the streets. They're they're kind of connected. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
I mean, if that's in the lyrics of Cool People, then that's kind of how it goes. But there's a kind of unsaid rule, right? It's weird. It's like a lot of groups can say the N word, but white people generally can't. So like you might have an Asian friend, and he might say, "Oh, what?" He might say, "What's up, N?" or like whatever, and not like that. And it might just be like, yeah, I guess he's not white, so he's kind of cool to say it. Bro, in America, you even get like kind of Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese people saying it to each other. Like it's nothing. It's all good.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like all right. So I think that rules out A, which is no one, and unfortunately, or fortunately, or in my opinion, it also rules out B. I don't think. I think Black people can say it, but I also think other groups can say it. So I think I'm gonna go with C. As long as your Black friend says cool, you can use it.
So you need a pass, yeah.
You need a
So
pass,
you
100%.
need a
And
pass.
you, not only do you need a pass, I think you need to not be white as well. Unfortunately, you know.
Oh no! Oh, right. That's
Yeah,
this is
yeah, yeah.
exclusive.
Because it's weird. It's an exclusive term, and I'm just saying, if the reason I say it is because if you were approved by your friends as a white person to say the N word, and then you went out somewhere else and said the N word without your friends, oh, it's gonna go badly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna go so badly.
That's it's definitely going left for sure.
Yeah. Whereas if you was like, I don't know, if you was like had, I don't know, Gujarati background or something, and you said it, like even black people be like,
It's so hard though, right? I mean, it's one of those ones where, as you say, it's kind of deep in the music, especially rap music, um, and rap music's very popular across different races. So as you're kind of singing along, it feels like it's in your vocab anyway. Like,
Mm.
and um, is one thing. Is it okay singing along with it, but not okay to say it,
Mm.
or is it just okay to say, like, it's just weird. It's a
Yeah, I couldn't answer that question. I'm not the ambassador for black people. I can't be.
I'll vote for you. Don't worry.
I'm not putting myself up to vote.
I'm not campaigning.
No.
No, so I'm gonna go with no one, because I don't think, for me, I don't think it's a word that I'm too keen on, and I think all the woke people out there would be like, I don't think it's cool to use. So
Fair, fair,
boom, no one.
fair.
So
All
go
right.
on.
So the next one.
Next.
What does it mean to be pro-black? Okay, you've only got two answers in this. Pro-black means to be for and about your people. Uh, to be for the togetherness and unity of the black community, and B is anti-white. You know,
No.
I can't see it being anti-white. However, what if because the first sentence here for the answer A is pro-black means to be for and about your people. What if you're not black?
Um, pro black, but if you're not black, then it's not applicable. NA.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, fair,
Unless
fair.
you say pro brown.
I mean, I don't know, but I'd go for A regardless. I'm going for A.
Yeah, I'm going with A as well. So next question is, what's wrong with this picture? And unfortunately, there's no image on there, so I can't even describe it.
Nope.
But this must be old. But the answers are nothing. Second answer is dashikis aren't new. Third is dashikis aren't new or an it item. And the fourth one is she should smile a little. I don't know if it's worth even.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't know.
I think I'll just go Dashikas are new, just because I have no idea.
I'm gonna say nothing.
All right,
Because I
fair,
have no idea. Cool.
fair. Mhm.
All right.
So you decide to go as Kanye West for a Halloween party, but you're not black. Do you paint your face? Okay. A,
Mm.
A. No way. That's blackface.
That's blackface.
B.
Oh.
Absolutely. I want to make it look authentic after all. C. I'd be too scared to offend anyone. D. I'll ask my black friends if it's okay. Ooh,
Mm.
mm,
Mm.
mm.
Well, I think it's weird, right? Because it kind of goes back to your question where you said, "Can you say the N word?" And you said if your friends say it's okay, then it's fine. Um, I think you can't rely on one black friend to be representative of all other kind of folk who are going to be in there judging you. So I think, and I feel like woke is maybe it's something that's not everyone's too clear on what woke is.
Mm.
So for me to say, yeah, it's fine, my black friend said it, I think that's not being woke, in my opinion. I don't know. it's a blackface. You can't do it. And the reason why it's controversial, right? Because I think obviously, you look at the old films back in the day. There was a lot of
Yep.
a lot of this stuff going on. So it's yeah, it's a strange one.
I think I'm really paying attention to the last part of the question, which says, "Do you paint your face?" It doesn't say, "Can you paint your face?" It says, "Do you paint your face?" Almost like an advisory, you know.
Mm,
And I would probably have to then answer like, "No way, that's blackface," as accepted and understood by society. That part is in brackets. So I mean, uh, if you value your social position, I wouldn't recommend it. Do you know what I mean? So
mm.
I'd probably have to go with no way, that's blackface.
I can't imagine someone actually saying that in public. No
Yeah,
way, that's blackface.
just
I do that.
can't do that.
You're on the bus. Someone's having a conversation and say, "No way, that's blackface." Can't even. That's. I'll be
Right.
like, okay, is there something wrong with blackface? Anyway, okay. I'll say I'll be too scared to offend anyone. I'd say that.
Okay,
Might not be woke, but you know.
it might be. Um,
Okay. Next question. White privilege is A, being able to speak on a particular subject without being the sole representative for your entire race. Never having to inform your children about systematic racism. C, being able to spec articulately
I think that's supposed.
without
I think that's supposed to be speak. Mm,
being able to speak articulately without being accused of sounding white. D, all of the above.
mm, mm,
Mm, mm,
mm. I mean, I could probably say all of the above. Um,
mm,
but
mm,
I'm only saying all of the above. Um, thinking from a position of a black person, and these are some of the things that you would come up against as a black person. I'm not sure if any other group feels the same way.
mm.
So, um, you
Is
know,
that white privilege though? Like the last one as well, being able to speak articulately without being accused of sounding white,
I
and
mean,
that's
yeah,
down to white.
I mean that one is weird, right? Because actually, the only people that accuse you of sounding white are other black people.
Mm,
You know, I don't know if white people accuse black people of sounding white. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they say
mm,
things like, "Oh, you don't sound like a black person," or what that might be. I don't know. Maybe.
mm. Yeah, not sure, but I think I think I'm going to go with never having to inform your children about systemic racism.
Hmm.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Yes.
Don't change. I shouldn't have told you.
No, no, no. I'm looking, man. What the hell? Don't change. Who are you? Your mama or something? I can change if I want. I'm a bad man. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, I think I'll stay with all of the above. Yeah, yeah.
Sweet. Stick to your guns.
All right. Next question. Do you see color? A, I don't have a choice. B, absolutely not. We're all humans. C, I have eyes, so yes, but it's never in a negative way. Or D, I see the world how Meryl Streep sees it. We're all Africans, really. Hmm, interesting.
Ooh, this is good.
Yeah.
This is quite close. Definitely don't have a choice.
Mm,
I feel like that's yeah, but then it's not answering the question
no.
quite as a woke person. Absolutely not. We're all humans. That's definitely like a altruistic kind of nice ideology. That's cool. That would be an answer. I have eyes, so yes, but it's never in a negative way. I think that's again, that's a nice rounded answer. If somebody responded to that, I would say they're woke. Um, I see the world how Meryl Streep sees it. We're all Africans. I think that feels like a very woke person. I don't know if I was having a deep conversation
Mm,
and they and 4 of them came out of those different answers, I think the last one, I'll be like, okay, that person's very woke.
Mm, mm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
close.
It is close. I agree with you
Mm.
on that one. I think, like you said, the first one is, how could you not see color? I mean, unless you're colorblind, you know. But then I guess you'll see shades, right?
Mm.
I would probably go with, because how I'm just a logical person. Um, I have eyes, so yes, but it's never in a negative way, because
Mm.
I don't see yeah, I don't see people's colors or race in a negative way. It doesn't, and that's a choice. That then becomes a choice. Like, I kind of see it in a positive way. They're different, so there's something to learn. So
Yes.
yeah, so I'd go with that one personally.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
How about you?
I went with Meryl Streep. We're all Africans.
Ooh, have you got an answer?
Yep. You?
Mm, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Okay. What does it say? What do you have over there?
So says to me, m- how as to how woke I am. I've got boom. You never sleep. You stay woke. Sleep for what? Not only are you aware of all the fuckery that goes on in the world, but you're actively trying to change it. You are so woke, you can spot a fake smile. You can spot a fake from a mile away. Boom. Super woke. Did you hear that, microaggression person? Super woke. What are you saying?
Okay. Okay. You're definitely happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the same. I think, yeah, I got the same actually. So,
Okay,
yeah, I
okay.
think I don't know if we influenced each other's answers, but I think that probably, I think we didn't. I think we're just quite like-minded people, and we're both woke guys.
What guys? What guys? What...
Okay, so now that was fun, and it's good to know that we're both the wokest of the woke. Um, and yeah, I mean, on that same tip, I guess it would be interesting to understand how you became so woke, um, because obviously, life is a journey, and I'm an avid learner and a curious mind, and I think we both are in that sense. And I think we wanted to kind of just cover like what books have shaped us and shaped our minds and shaped our and been influential to our path today. You know, I think we kind of touched on this on a previous podcast, but you know, books are a great source of information and mentoring and just inspiration and knowledge. Um, so I don't know if you want to kick it off, but it'd be interesting to know what books have shaped who you are
And
today.
you know, before I continue, I'll have you know that a lot of people say exactly the same thing as you do in terms of me being their inspiration for life, and how my daily actions um are those in which they wish to imitate, and if they could follow in my footsteps, they would only be so honored. So yeah, thanks to you, thanks to all my followers.
Thanks and good night.
Been
It's
a
been a
pleasure.
pleasure.
I'm out. Drop smack. Oh yeah, man. I mean, look. Again, I think this is one of the things that we connected on, in terms of um, what some of our core makeup is, and you know, I'm a glutton for information, and there are some books that are like definitely shaped the way that I think, and you know, and there are still books that still continue to shape the way I think. So, but for me,
Mm.
um, I'd say the first book in my life that definitely changed, or not changed, more kind of molded like some of my fundamental values, is a 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Um, it's really kind of a Machiavellian type book, which is, some will see it as quite ruthless, quite manipulative. Um, and I remember when I was reading it, I was in college, I was smoking way too much weed, and I'd read this book, and what it did for me, it kind of demonstrate the true nature of people. It didn't say that everybody is like this, but it did paint scenarios in which you could see how people would behave given those circumstances. And it turned, through some experiment, it turned out to be quite accurate. Um, in conjunction with that book, because it was given to me by my mum, but I don't think she realized, she never read the book, so she didn't really understand how influential it really was or could be. I think in conjunction with that book, I had also How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I think that really helped
Mm.
because, reading a book like 48 Laws of Power, it could definitely turn you into this kind of megalomaniac, kind of master manipulator type of person. And and I think, reading How to Win Friends and Influence People kind of balanced that for me at the same time. So, it and then I decided, rather than using this text and this knowledge to manipulate people, how about I read it, I understand it. I've read it plenty of times. I read it and I understand it and try to kind of defend myself from being manipulated. I kind of turned it on its head in a way, you know. Um, and it's aided
Mm.
me through my life. It's one of the books I've recommended it to you. I've recommended it to many people, and Robert Greene is actually, he's my favorite author, and his other books, again, some of them quite Machiavellian. His other books include The Art of Seduction, which I've read a few times, which is a good book, great book. It's not simply about seducing people from the other gender; it's about, persuasion as a whole. His other books in his series are the 33 Strategies of War, which is a fun book to read. Again, really Machiavellian, but it uses like historical references to kind of paint out some of the strategies, which it's highly entertaining. Um, and the last two in his series are Mastery, which is a great book, not so Machiavellian. And his latest book is The Law of Human Nature, which again I've read like at least three times now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Robert Greene, huge influence. Great guy. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Mm. Mm. His books are just huge, like pages and pages. I don't know how he does it, but
man.
he's a prolific writer. But what I like about his books is that he does like a specimen by example. Like he'll give you like exemplary or example stories on the principles that he's kind of trying to
Mhm.
articulate, which makes it a bit more memorable. And it's great because it also, I mean, it must have done a
Mhm.
hell of a lot of research skills, research to draw those examples out and those anecdotes. So yeah, it's a great book. I love him as well. It's got some
Mhm. Mhm.
good gold
For
nuggets
sure.
there.
Sure. How about you?
One of the ones that I like is that's been quite key is
Mm.
The Richest Man in Babylon. Um, so that book I really liked. It's quite a short book. It's based in like a it's like based in like hundreds of years ago in sort of Babylonian times, and in Babylon as well, Babylon. And it's I think it's about a sort of fictional character who's like a scribe. He's not that rich, and then he becomes the richest man in Babylon, um, purely because of these like principles of gold and saving, and just being sort of kind of shrewd with the opportunities that came to him um, along his way of just coming from the bottom to the top. So it's a nice short book that gives a hell of a lot of advice. And I think one of the main things I drew from that was like, it's like saving your money and having sort of money management. I think that's one of the things that schools don't really teach you per se, and maybe your parents don't teach you. My parents didn't really teach me that, so it's definitely helped me with my sort of money management skills um, and financial literacy, which I think is kind of poorly taught and neglected in school. On that same financial literacy note, another book that's played a key part, and I think this is kind of like uh, a typical book you would see on people's bookshelves that are curious about financial literacy and personal finances, is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now I think it's like a staple book, but what I liked about that book was it kind of showed the two mentalities of the two dads that he supposedly had, and why one is rich and why one is poor, and it kind of put me in that mentality of entrepreneurship. You kind of need to own yours to get to get yours, and don't just be like a worker per se. If you just do your get your paycheck and live your career, your whole life for your career, you're going to remain quote unquote poor in his sort of words, and I think that kind of resonates with a lot of people as well that have aspirations to kind of excel and just get ahead. So that's a
Yeah.
key book.
I mean, I think I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad as a young person. I think it was um, the first time it opened my eyes as to, what real assets and real liabilities are. And
Mm,
I think it talks about how, how a house can be a liability. And I think,
mm,
you know, society kind of teaches us that you go through life, you go off, you go and get a mortgage and you get this house and then you kind of live happily ever after. But the reality is
mm,
that, a mortgage is a huge loan and, the bank kind of holds your house as collateral until you pay the loan off.
mm,
Um, and it actually then, goes into how the same house can be an asset for one person and a liability for another person. So it kind of, yeah, that a staple book for me as well, man. I think you're totally right in the sense that you know these kind of lessons aren't necessarily taught in school. Probably because if everyone knew this, then maybe we wouldn't fall into consumerism the way we do, and the whole system
mm,
wouldn't flow the way it does. Um, but yeah, like I think you're really right in the sense that anyone who's kind of interested in that financial independence, they start with a book like this, and yeah, anyone who hasn't read it is pretty epic. And to kind of continue my list before I go back to you and hear some more from you. I think it's really interesting how some books are kind of have like are based in fiction, but they're actually describing or giving instruction for your life. I think sometimes that's quite effective, Um, I'm not sure if Robert Kiyosaki actually had two dads. I'm not really sure. He might
mm,
have. He might have. But the idea that he did, it kind of really illustrates, how kind of like how applicable you can move this lesson and like apply it to so many different people's scenario and the results can still relatively be the same. And one book that I'd like to bring up because it's fiction, total fiction, is The Alchemist by Pa- Paulo Coelho. um, and the reason I like this book is because it's lovely. It's just a lovely book about following your dreams. you know um, it's about this shepherd, and eventually he goes off on this like long journey of self discovery, and he's off to find treasure, and he kind of he's from Spain, and he finds himself going on this long journey, ends up in Egypt, kind of diffuses some huge battle, and finds his treasure eventually. And I won't tell you where his treasure is, but it's close to home. And the whole book is generally about you know, not settling for what you think you are, but understanding that, the treasure is also within you. So you always had it anyway. Um, and I think it's kind of like illustrated really well in this book. I've let my son listen to it. He doesn't truly understand it, but it's it's a great book. It's yeah, definitely. And I tend to read nonfiction, but this fiction book was like, yeah, I see why this is like a really kind of like, you know monumental bestseller. I get it.
Mm, mm.
Mm,
Yeah, I think I've downloaded that book and I've tried to listen to it a few times, but I just haven't sat down and sustainably listened to it. So it's definitely on my
mm,
to listen list for sure.
mm.
Um, but on the same sort of fiction book tip, the other one I like is Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Oh, for sure.
Um, yeah, and I think someone gifted me that book. A good amount of years ago, maybe 8 years ago. And it was just an enjoyable book. Like I don't really read fiction books like in general anyway. Um, but the message on there was like it was a light read, but it was an interesting story plot. And without getting too much into the detail, it's like essentially like these animals in a farm. They have these like 10 commandments on the wall or something like that, or 8 commandments, whatever it is. And one of the key ones is like all animals are equal, and then the pigs get in charge, and then they kind of rewrite the rules because they're the only ones that can breed, and they're highly educated out of all the animals. And I think George Orwell's like he's just so on the ball, and kind of trying to highlight the sort of elitism of like the educated and the elite, etc., who are in power, and how they can there's this like thing of they can pull the wool over people's eyes and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
um yeah, it's just such a like a nice easy read but a powerful message in there,
Yeah.
um which is really cool.
Yeah, it's that kind of like absolute power corrupts, and um power corrupts absolutely kind of thing, right?
mm,
I
mm.
think I think that's the saying. I haven't read Animal Farm, to be fair. Um
It's great. you
yeah,
should you
yeah.
should get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely like one on the list. I think he's got 1984 as well, which is supposed to paint
Yeah,
the dystopian world that we're currently living in.
yeah, that's
So,
a good one.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, again on the list. I'd say, one of another major book which I read, which was, instrumental in kind of understanding how the way things work in general, was Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Good book. Good book. It's funny because, like, it's a book about men, how men communicate and how women communicate, and bridging the gap between the two, so that we can have successful relationships, and understanding how different we are as individuals. And that's kind of like insinuated in the title, that we're from completely different planets. And the more you kind of read into the book, the more you and apply it into your relationships, not simply romantic relationships, but just relationships with people from the other gender, and your own gender, actually, all of your relationships. You kind of start to see some of the patterns that are discussed in the book. um yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the key things that I tend to tell, like, female friends, lovers, um, whoever, um, is this part of communication. And you know, there could be a point where I'm talking to like a female friend, and she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend's a bit upset. He hasn't talked to me in a couple of days. What's up?" And I say, "Look, man, maybe he's just got a problem, and he's trying to work it out, and that's why he's not really forthcoming." That's in the book. It mentions that men kind of go into like this man cave, and they kind of want to sort their problems out by themselves. And in coming out of the man cave without an answer is almost like an admission of defeat. Whereas women tend to sort out their problems in a different way. and they tend to communicate with each other and, you know, kind of talk their problems out in order to kind of naturally come to some type of solution. Whereas, you know, guys are a bit more aggressive about getting a solution. So, you know, it talks about how understanding that a man in his man cave isn't, you know, he isn't retreating from you. He's just trying to sort his problems out. And then understanding that a woman just trying to talk something through is not her trying to pressure you. It's her trying to kind of find her way of, you know, coming to solution. I mean, I thought that was quite interesting, and you know, it definitely helps in the understanding of human behavior, which is a subject that's my lifelong subject. Do you know what I mean? Just like how we behave as a species, is that interests me beyond anything else. And yeah, that was a real instrumental book. Sometimes I see opportunities to use it in the relationships I've been in or am in or whatever. And then I just ignore that. I just say, yeah, I could do that, but I could just be like, go to Man Cave, it's better. I've got a PlayStation 4 there anyway.
So like you got the manual, you know exactly what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, you know, she wants some attention, but you're like, no, actually, I'm not going to give them the attention and sort it out right here, right now. I'm going to play Fortnite.
100%, 100%. If she could play Fortnite, if she gets a headset, plays Fortnite, we could talk about a relationship as we shoot people. 100%. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should be like a relationship coach. I think that might be a good part for you. You got some good ideas, and you read the book as well, so I think you know. Certified.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
we probably get some like agony aunt letters coming in soon.
oh, yeah.
You know.
I mean, you know, funnily enough, there's a podcast, Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. And Bill Burr, if you don't know him, he's such this outspoken comedian. Says the wildest shit. He says shit that you get cancelled for. You got to be careful, Bill. Anyway, he's got his podcast, and on one section of his podcast, he acts as like a kind of agony uncle, but he is wild. Remember, this guy's wild. So people are writing in with their real stories, and he's just saying, "Look, just tell the B to F off," and it's like, "Whoa, bro!" So you never know. You know, it could become a segment.
A segment.
It could be a segment on the Kaleidospoke podcast.
Wow. Just do the opposite. That, you know, you hear any advice you hear from this show, just do the opposite.
Definitely, this is not investment advice.
Relationship advice, any advice at all.
No, don't listen, please.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Any more books for you?
David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, definitely recommended. Big book. You know, show you a bit of grit, and that guy's a beast. The other one is Awakening the Giant with Anthony Robbins. Love Anthony Robbins, like super motivational, great guy to get you pumped and believe in yourself. And I kind of come across him earlier in my life, and I thought, you know, he gave me definitely a spring in my step in terms of you can, you know, push yourself and etc. So, any more?
No, I think I'll let the good listeners get on with their lives, you know. Yeah, we had a good one, and you know, next Monday we'll be back in your ears talking some more.
Over and out.